In this video, we will set up a beam simulation study and run it. In this, we will follow our usual steps of applying contact conditions, fixtures, loads, creating the mesh, and then running the study. The first thing we can note in this study is that since we have more than one body, we can now set up contact conditions or connections. And this is something we can see here in the simulation tree. And by default, SOLIDWORKS will apply a global contact condition. And so if I expand this component interactions, we will have an entry that says global condition bonded. And this bonded condition usually gets applied by default by SOLIDWORKS. This means that where two bodies are in contact, they are basically completely glued, welded, or sealed to each other, almost being one part, which is exactly what we want. So I will leave it as such. Now we can start applying the fixtures. So I will right click on the fixture, apply fixed geometry, make sure I have fixed geometry selected, and then select the joints on the far left and far right of our beam. Then click on OK. Now I have to apply the fixture on the middle joint. So I will go again to fixtures, right click, fix geometry, and then this time select the immovable no transition option, and then select the joint in the middle, and then click on the green check mark. And this type of immovable fixture will satisfy the conditions we were asked to apply. Now let me go ahead and apply the loads. So right click on external loads, select force, and here we have two forces that we need to apply. The first is a 10,000 Newton force distributed to one side of the beam, and the other is a point force of 5,000 Newton. So I will start with the 10,000 Newton force. So here in the selection, I will select beam, and then select 1/2 of the beam. And then for the direction, I will use my front plane as an indicator, and then select the force normal to plane, and then set the value to 10,000. And I have the unit set up to Newton, which we can see here. Just to double check, I can take a look at the arrows, and yes, they are pointing at the right direction. So I will go ahead and click on the green check mark. And this applies our first force. Now to the second force, I will right click on the loads again, select force, and this time in the selections, I will select the option vertices or points, and then select this reference point I created earlier. And then for the direction, I will again use my front plane as a base, click in the normal to plane option, and then set that to 5,000 Newton. To double check, I can take a look at the arrow indicating the force, which is exactly what we want. And now I can click on the green check mark. Now we can move to applying the mesh and running the study. If I directly click on the run study on the top, the software will automatically create the mesh and run the study. So let me go ahead and do that directly to save some time. And by this, we ran our study, and here are our results. As usual, the first thing I need to do is to take a look at the plot and just see if the deformations actually make sense. In this case, they do. And by this, I can conclude this video.